Hi, welcome to interview.com. Interview.com is a job portal. If you're looking for a job, you can post your resume using the following link. In this video, I'm going to explain to you 35 Java exception related questions. Very important Java questions. What is an exception? Exception is an abnormal condition that can be handled. In another word, an unwanted, unexpected events that disturbs the normal flow of the program is called as an exception. Let me show you an example. So this is the code we have. Okay, there is some code in your application you are running, but for example you are running a code running your application in that you are expecting a file to be in the hard disk. It's not there. Okay, that's what the abnormal condition is, and you are throwing an exception, and in the catch block you might be writing the code to recover. Okay, what is an error? And that abnormal condition that can't be handled, that is called error. That is system failure, shutdown, JVM shutdown, JVM crash. Okay, so there is a difference between exception and error. Exception is where there is an abnormal condition happen and you can recover, whereas an error you can't recover from the abnormal condition. What is the purpose of exception handling? The main purpose of exception handling is for graceful termination of the program. Okay, what is the meaning of exception handling? Exception handling doesn't mean repairing the exception. Some abnormal condition happen, we are not going to repair, but we have an alternative way to continue the rest of the code normally. For example, file not found exception happened. The file that you expected did not available in the hard disk. So I will read from the database and I will recover from that condition, and I will move on in the application. What is the purpose of try block? We should maintain the risky code inside the try block. Please remember, the risky code should be in the try block. What is the purpose of catch block? We maintain all the exception handling, the recovering code in the catch block. What is try? Sometimes interviewer asks this type of question and try to confuse you, but don't confuse the answer. This answer is so simple. Try is a keyword in Java. What is catch? Same case as a try catch is also catch is also a keyword in Java. Is try block with multiple catch block possible? Yes, try with multiple catch block. It is possible. You can write try block with multiple catch blocks for separate catch block for every exception. If try multiple catch block present is the order of catch block is important, in which order we have to take. If try multiple catch block present, the order of catch block is important. It should from child to parent and not from parent to child. Let me show you an example so that you can understand. See here, this order matters. Catch block. Okay, first the parent, then the child should come. When I say child 1 exception extends from exception. Child 2 exception extends from child 1 exception. So this order matters. For example, I change this. What happens? It says unreachable catch block. Okay, so the order matters. So the order matters. So from the child to parent, not the parent to child. What are the various methods in exception class? Print, stack trace, toString, get message. These are the different types of methods available in the exception class. If an exception raised in catch block, what will happen? If an exception raised in catch block and it is not part of any try block, then it always an abnormal termination. abnormal termination. Your program will shut down. Okay, if you don't have appropriate handling for that exception raised in the catch block, your program will terminate abnormally. It is possible try catch block inside the catch block. Yes, it is possible to have a try catch block inside the catch block. Yes, it is possible. What is the purpose of finally block? The main purpose of finally block is to maintain the cleanup code. This block will execute always. Let me show that example. So this is the finally block. Any problem happened here or here, okay, irrespective of whatever happens here, finally block will always be executed. The purpose is to clean the code. For example, releasing the resources. So do something that will be helpful for the application to continue. Okay, what is the is it possible try block without catch block? Yes, it is possible try block without catch block using finally block. See, like this you can have it. These are all tricky questions. Please be aware of this. In which case finally block will not be executed. There is only one solution where the finally block won't be executed if we are using system.exit in the catch or try block. Finally block won't be executed explicitly. Then JVM itself will be shut down, and there is no chance of executing the finally block. If return statement present in the try block is finally block will be executed. Yes, finally block will be executed because finally block will always dominate the return statement. Let me show you an example, then you'll understand. See, there is a return statement here. Always the finally block will be executed. Okay, so the answer will be 108, not 80, because finally block overrides the return statement. Okay, so you have written here, always this will be executed. Okay, what is the difference between final, finally and finalize? Final is a modifier applicable on variable and method and class. Final variable means constant and reassign not possible. Okay, finally is a block that associated with the try catch block to maintain the cleanup code. Finalize is method of object class garbage collector. Always call this method just before destroying any object to perform cleanup activity. Is it possible to write any code within try catch and finally block? No, it is not possible to write any statement between try catch finally block. If you will write, you will get a compiler error. These are all, it should be ordered. Is it possible to finally block for some try? No, it is not possible to finally block in the same try. Not possible. Compile time error, you will be getting a compile error. Is syntax try finally catch is possible? No, this syntax is not valid. You will be getting a compiler error. What is the purpose of throw keyword? Sometimes we create an exception explicitly and we can hand over that exception object to the JVM explicitly by using throw keyword, or you can give it to JVM or any other class that called your method. You can throw your exception so that they will handle it, that class will handle it. In other words, the throw key uses the raise exception. You can throw like this, the called method. Okay, here in this case JVM will try to handle it. Okay, we are giving the exception to the JVM. It is possible to throw an error. Yes, it is possible to throw an error. Any throwable type include errors. Is it possible to throw an object? No, we can use throw keyword only throwable object, otherwise we will get compiler error saying unreachable statement. What is the purpose of throws keyword? Throws keyword used to propagate the exception. So in a particular block exception happened, you want to move out of there and give that exception to the some other class. Propagate means to the higher layer, and Say for example, DB layer exception happened, you want to move to the service layer. In the service layer you will handle it and display it. Okay, so propagate the exception, we need throws. What is the difference between throws and thrown? This type of question create the confusion, and this is a very tricky. There is no keyword called thrown in Java. You should straightforward, you can say that. Explain the exception handling keywords. Try, catch, finally, throw, throws. Okay, these are the keywords for exception in Java. Which class of root class in Java exception hierarchy? Throwable class is the top class of exception hierarchy. What is the difference between exception and error? Exception is recoverable, error we cannot recover from that. Okay, it's like almost crashed. What is the difference between checked and unchecked exception? The checked exception is called compile time. At the compile time, the compiler will check the exceptions, whereas the unchecked exception is like at compile time it won't bother at all. Runtime exceptions, it won't bother, it will not cry, the compiler will not cry. You can throw and catch the unchecked exceptions. What is the difference between partially checked and fully checked exception? A checked exception is said to be fully checked if and only if the child class also checked, otherwise it calls partially checked exceptions. Fully checked exception or partially checked exception. IO exception is fully checked exceptions. What are customized exceptions? Sometime based on your programming required, we have to create our own exception, such type of exception called customized exception. Can you give the name of most common exception occurred in your previous project? Null point exception, array index out of bound exception, stack overflow exception, class cast exception. Will the finally block executed if there is an exception thrown in try block? Yes, the final block will override the thrown exception. Finally always dominates. Okay, can we catch runtime exception? Yes, you can catch runtime exception and throw runtime exception, but the compiler will not complain at all. Hope these 35 in Java interview questions are useful for your interview preparation. Thank you and all the best.